Right now, I want to talk about passive-aggressive colleagues at work. Frank Danna, Director of Culture at Softway, is joining me now. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to talk to you again.
Well, thank you. So I work with a guy here at WTAM 1100 who gets in subtle digs. He deliberately withholds information from me. He refuses to cooperate with the rest of the team. His name is Carmen Angelo. What can I do about a guy like that?
Wow, you just called Carmen out like that so quickly.
It's because he's sitting right next to me, too. All right, so, yeah, I mean, passive-aggressive behavior at work, is it that big of a problem?
You know, it is. It happens all the time. And, you know, there was a small study that came out that said, 20% of American workers are experiencing this passive-aggressive behavior from their colleagues. And, yeah, it could be subtle, sarcastic digs. It could be mind games. It could be different ways that people just approach having conversations that feel really rude.
So what's the best way to deal with a workplace bully then, Frank?
You know what? Here's the approach that I like to take. First, I like to respond instead of react. If they're truly trying to ruin your day, don't give them the satisfaction of it affecting you, right? Don't let their immaturity pull you down to their level, because they're craving a reaction from you. And in reality, when you stay level-headed and mature about the conversation or about the situation, it keeps you above reproach, which is important.
All right. So should you report those people to HR? And what if that person who's the bully happens to be your boss?
You know what I've started to realize, though, is I think there is a time and place for HR. But most of the time, I actually try my best to assume good intent of my coworkers. Because what I've experienced is before I take this to an HR issue, I have to realize that just below the surface, they're dealing with things that I can't see. Maybe it's cancer, maybe it's loss, maybe it's debt, maybe it's struggles at home with children, with friends, with spouses. And some folks aren't even aware of their own behaviors because those things externally are actually causing them to react to people in ways that they may not even know about. So before I take it to HR, even if it's a boss, I try to make sure that I want to clarify with them by having an honest conversation, which can sometimes be a little bit challenging, especially if that person is your boss.
Talking to Frank Danna right now, Director of Culture at Softway. Your boss is Mohammed Anwar. I've interviewed Mohammed because Mohammed readily admits, Frank, that he was a Richard head back in the day. He was a terrible boss who almost destroyed his company by chasing away great employees. And he saw his mistakes, he corrected them, and now your company's one of the best to work for.
And I think it comes from that perspective of having people around you that are willing to give you that feedback, right? I was one of those people that was like, hey, Mohammed, by the way, you're being kind of a Richard right now. And as a result of that, it helped him see that his misbehavior, the way he was treating people, it wasn't just impacting the people directly below him. Folks like myself, I was also starting to treat other people like that. So when I see like office ogres or people that are being passive aggressive, I start to think, okay, what is their leadership team like? Because most likely that is going to stem from leaders. Because if somebody feels like they can be passive aggressive, it's probably because the leader is tolerating it or actually behaving like it too. And that's a problem.
All right, Frank, listen, thanks for coming on and talking about this, and keep up the good work at Softway.
Always, man. Thanks again.
All right, Frank Danna, Director of Culture at Softway. That's Mo Anwar's company.